All right, let's dive right in. If you're trying to tame the wild world of multi-cloud, you already know it's incredibly powerful. But man, is it complex. So today, we're going to talk about the one tool you absolutely need to navigate that complexity, a really well-structured risk register.
I mean, it's a fair question, right? Just getting your arms around one cloud provider is a full-time job. But let's be real. Who's just using one cloud anymore? Most companies are juggling AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, you name it. So when your infrastructure is spread out across, say, 5 different platforms, how on earth do you keep track of everything that could go wrong? And that, right there, is the heart of the problem. In this huge, sprawling multi-cloud maze, the most dangerous threats are the ones hiding in the blind spots. The gaps between your different environments. A security hole in one cloud could easily expose data in another. A tiny dependency you didn't even know existed could bring the whole shebang crashing down. It's not just complicated, it's a total minefield. So, how do we find our way through it all? Well, we need a map. And in the world of cloud governance, that map is the risk register. It sounds simple, and it is, but it's a powerful tool for bringing some much-needed clarity and control to all that chaos. It's how you turn those unknown, scary dangers into actual, manageable tasks.
So what are we talking about exactly? Think of a risk register as your single source of truth for anything that could bite you. It's basically a living document, a master list, where you identify, analyze, and plan for every major risk, whether it's a technical vulnerability or a potential business headache, across all of your cloud platforms. Now, for this to actually work, it needs a little structure. We're going to focus on 5 key parts: a super clear description of the risk, an owner who's on the hook for it, a quick assessment of how likely it is to happen and how bad it would be if it did, and, this is the most important part, a real plan to deal with it.
Okay, theory is great and all, but let's make this real. Let's roll up our sleeves and actually walk through a super common cloud risk. We're going to build out a register entry for it, step by step, so you can see exactly how this whole process works in the real world.
So for our example, we're going to use a classic, single region dependency. This is a big one. It just means a critical piece of your application is running in only one physical geographic location. So what happens if that entire region has an outage? Could be natural disaster, could be a simple tech failure, doesn't matter. Your service is just gone. It's a massive and honestly an often overlooked single point of failure. And here we go. Here's our blank canvas. This is the basic framework of our risk register. You can see the columns for the ID, the description, the owner, and all the assessments. So let's fill this thing out together for our single region dependency risk. First things first, and this is absolutely non-negotiable. Every single risk needs an owner, period. A risk without an owner is just a problem that everyone hopes someone else will solve. And look, the owner isn't always the person who does the hands-on fixing, but they are the one person who is accountable for making sure it gets tracked and that the plan to fix it actually moves forward.
So for our risk, let's go ahead and assign it to the lead cloud architect. And boom, just like that, we have accountability. We have a clear point person. Someone's name is now officially on the line for this. Okay, next up, we've got to figure out how big of a deal this really is. And we do that by looking at 2 things. First is likelihood. What are the odds this thing actually happens? And second is impact, which is basically the so what factor. How bad would it really be for the business if it did?
See, this is how we prioritize what to worry about first. For example, a meteor hitting your data center, that's super high impact, obviously, but extremely low likelihood. You probably don't need to spend your whole week planning for that. On the other hand, a tiny bug that causes a 1-second delay, that's low impact, but it might happen all the time. You have to focus your energy on the stuff that's both reasonably likely and has a big business impact. For our single region issue, a major outage is probably a medium likelihood event. It doesn't happen every day, but it for sure can happen. But the business impact? Oh, that would be high. We're talking significant downtime, lost revenue, angry customers, the works. Long story short, this is a big one. We absolutely cannot ignore it.
All right, knowing about a risk is one thing, but doing something about it is everything. This is where the rubber meets the road. The mitigation plan is the action plan. It's where you outline the specific, concrete steps you're going to take to either make the risk less likely to happen or to lessen the pain if it does.
And there it is, a fully completed entry. Our mitigation plan is crystal clear and actionable. Implement multi-region failover strategy by Q3. We've got the whole picture now. We know the risk,
who owns it, how serious it is, and exactly what we're going to do about it. We took this vague, scary idea and turned it into a concrete plan. That's the power of this process.
But hold on, we're not done. Creating the document is really just the beginning. To be truly effective, this risk register can't just be a file that sits on a shared drive collecting digital dust. It has to be part of a living, breathing governance process.
Think about it. The cloud is changing constantly. New services are launching, our apps are getting updated, new threats are popping up every day. Your risk register has to evolve with it. A risk register that's 6 months old isn't a map, it's a history book. Its real value comes from using it all the time, not just from creating it that one time. So how do you keep it alive? It's a simple cycle, really. First, you review it regularly, maybe every quarter. Second, you update your plans. A plan you made 6 months ago might be totally useless today. And third, you report your top risks to leadership. This gives everyone visibility and makes sure the business actually understands where the real dangers are hiding. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. After all of this, what's that one risk, the one that feels a little too big, maybe a little too unlikely to really think about? The one that might keep you up at night just a little bit? What is that unthinkable risk that you absolutely need to get down on paper, assign an owner to, and start planning for tomorrow?